Alright guys, welcome back to another video. And today's video is focusing solely on the 360. Basically what's happened is my brother-in-law has gave me his 360 for free. He doesn't use it anymore. He's never played it for months and months and months. So he just thought it would be better to go into a good home, which is my home. So briefly, my history with the 360. I had a 360 at launch. I did enjoy it, really enjoyed it. My sister worked for Game, so I got all my games for free for the 360. When she left, I had to start buying games, and that's when I started to slowly fall out of love with it. I just felt the games weren't value for money. A lot of them, like for instance the Call of Duty games and that, paying 45 quid for them, and they were done within a few hours. I'm not a massive multiplayer fan. I prefer single player, so I didn't love playing the games anymore. So I got rid of my 360, 2009 I think it was. So there's a lot of games I missed out on. So what I've basically done is, since I've never really looked for 360 games before out in the wild, I just happened to see some in my local cash generators, in my Game, things like that. So I didn't realise how cheap they were. So I've managed to actually pick up over 50 games in the last few months for it, which is a lot of games, but I've been tanking through them. I've completed probably about 80% of them, because again, that's, like I said, that's why I love the 360 now in retrospect, because the games are cheap and they only last a few hours, but for £1 or £2, for me it's worth the money. So I've got myself a beer. Today's beer is Innis and Gunn Dark Oak, very nice. Cracking day as well, got the summit on. Oh, that is nice. Anyway, so I'll just crack on and quickly show you the title and briefly what I think of them, because everyone seeing 360 games and things like that. So the game he did give me with it is Grand Theft Auto 5. Everyone's played Grand Theft Auto 5. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad they've ironed out a lot of the creases and that of the game. You don't have to piss about doing side missions and things like that. You can just focus on the story, because that's what I like about the Grand Theft Auto games. It's just focusing on the story, doing it bish bash bosh. So yeah, so pretty enjoyed that. It's a good game. First up is 007 Legends. I wanted to play this game since it originally came out. I saw it advertised. I love all the Bond games. That's very, very poor. They say it plays like a poor man's Call of Duty. I wouldn't even give that compliment to it. It's highly disappointing. Luckily, this was the dearest game I paid actually. I paid £2.99 for this. But I don't even think it's worth £3. Next up is Afro Samurai. Really good game this. Visually it's beautiful. I'm not too clued up on the Afro Samurai anime or the manga, whatever it is. I do like Samuel L. Jackson, though his voice is pretty good in it. It's a hack and slash game, pretty good fun. I only paid £1 for this. It's definitely worth £1. It never got the best reviews, but it's a pretty good game. So that's Afro Samurai. Next up was, I think it's a bit of a bargain, is the steel case of Arkham City. No bad nick, there's a wee ding there somewhere if you can see it. But yeah, again, everyone's played Arkham City. I'm enjoying this. I don't think it's too much of a departure from the first one, to be honest. I know they made a big deal about going about in the city and that, but Spider-Man's been doing that for years. But still a pretty good game for the price I paid. I can't complain. I think that was a bargain. To shoot 'em up now. I actually picked up 3 shoot 'em ups in the same shop, so it's obviously a guy just handed them all in. Same guy. This is Akai Katana. Really, really great bullet hell shooter. It's a horizontal shooter. It's visually it's beautiful. The 360 has been blessed with quite a few good shooters actually, and I personally think, in my opinion, this is the best. Its difficulty is good. It's pretty rock hard, to be honest, but it's balanced. I will give it that. It's a lot more balanced than say the cave shooters. But yeah, so Akai Katana, that was £1.99. Bargain. I bought this actually brand new for £2. I'm still sealed. That's Aliens Colonial Marines. I obviously knew nothing about this game, me not following current gen games, so I didn't realise it looked a lot better in pre-production, and when it was released it looks a bit poor. I still think it looks alright, but again it's pretty basic corridor shooter. It's quite funny how this has never really changed since Aliens vs Predator on the Jag. It's still the same game really. You still walk down endless corridors shooting at aliens. So that's their progress for you in 15, 18 years. Anyway, FPS now, Battlefield 3. This was only £1. I do enjoy the Battlefield games, however I think the one player games are sort of lacking. You really have to play it online. Unfortunately I don't have online with my Xbox 360. I'm refusing to pay £40 for a membership. So it's not the best. A great game now, Bayonetta. Again, this was £1. This was fantastic. Obviously the Bayonetta 2 is coming out in the Wii U, so I'm looking forward to that. Excuse me. This is a really great game for the 360. I think it's visually it looks beautiful. I've never been a great fan of the Devil May Cry games, but Bayonetta, I might be because she's fucking sexy as fuck, but really good. It's mental games, mental. I've got a finger because I've got that fucking menu to show you. Born Conspiracy, this was £1. I personally think this was a fantastic game. I had this back in 2009. I think it's really underrated. It looks brilliant. Great hand-to-hand combat. Yeah, I definitely think this. People never gave this the love it deserved. I think it's a really good game. Another game I've been after for years and years. It was Bloodstone, 007 Bloodstone. Again, because I love the James Bond games, really big fan of them. This one's not too bad. I prefer Bond games in the third perspective. I think they play a lot better than say Double Legends. But Everything and Nothing is still the best Bond game on the Xbox and GameCube and that. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this. It was quite long actually. 5 hours or something it took me to complete the campaign, which is quite long nowadays. Another Battlefield game, Battlefield Bad Company 2. Again, great game. I really enjoyed the first Bad Company. I've not played this all the way through. I'm starting to get a bit fed up with first person shooters because I've had that many, but decent enough. Another first person shooter now is Bulletstorm. This was £1. This game is just fantastic. It's fucking hilarious. It's great alternative to the more serious FPSs. It's very tongue in cheek. The cursing and swearing gets a bit much, to be honest, which is ironic coming from a Scotsman who every second word's a fucking swear word. It does get a bit much, but it's good fun. It's great fun. Again, the campaign only lasts 4 hours or something, but definitely worth £1 anyway. A game I was surprised about. I'd heard bad things about it. Bionic Commando. I kind of was hoping this to be better than it was. I knew the reviews weren't that great, but it was still pretty poor. I think the swing mechanic's quite hard to get a hang of. It's nowhere near as simple and intuitive as say Spider-Man, but it's alright. I can't see me finishing this, to be honest. I just get a bit bored halfway through. I'll maybe go back to it one day though. Brink. It's no bad game. Again, that was 50p. It's not bad. It's really made for multiplayer, but it's not too bad. Call of Duty games now. I've got Black Ops 1 for £1, Call of Duty 4 for 50p, and Black Ops 2 for £1.99. I was actually quite surprised with Black Ops 2. I didn't really like the campaign at first. I think that guy, if you can see him, I didn't think he was a very good character. Kind of got a bit fed up with him. But as the game progressed, it was actually David S. Goyer, the guy that wrote Batman and that. Actually, it's quite a good story, quite a believable story. So I really enjoyed it. I've I never played the zombies. I'm not too keen about the zombies, to be honest. And multiplayer, as I say, I've not got online. I do enjoy the Call of Duty games. They are what they are. Again, Black Ops 2 took me like 4.5 hours to finish. So, another shooter now. This one's fantastic. Again, Death Smiles. This was $1.99. I have seen this for a $5 in game though. So, if anyone's interested, please pick this up for a $5. Comes with a soundtrack. And something else. What else does it come with? Desktop accessories, whatever that is. But yeah, don't be put off by the little pervy 12-year-old children. Is it wrong to say everyone likes 12-year-old children? Anyway, don't be put off it. It's a fantastic bullet hell shooter. It's why the 360 I feel is a better system than the PS3 last generation because of games like this. But Death Smiles, fantastic. Pick it up. Game I've not played, Defiance, because it's online only. I only paid £1 for it, but I never actually noticed that it was online only. What can you do? So I'll probably just give that away to somebody. Took a punt on this game, Dragon Age Origins. Never played any of the Dragon Age games. I'd heard this was the best. So I'm not a huge fan of like the BioWare style games. Like I've got Knights of the Republic and that for the Xbox, original Xbox. But I've only played about an hour and a half of it, and I do enjoy it. It's pretty funny actually, but I don't know if I have the time to finish it. I think it's like 40 odd hours, and I know it's ironic me complaining games aren't long enough, but I don't know if I've got 40 hours to sink into a game. But it's pretty good actually. I'm enjoyed. I thought it would be a lot more turn-based strategy games for some reason. The games I just cannot stand. So I don't know why I thought that. But yeah, it's pretty funny. But I'll probably set aside some time to finish it actually. Next up is original Dead Island. That was £1. I really liked the premise of this game. I thought it was a good idea. I know it got mixed reviews because it wasn't executed that greatly. For me, I played about 3 hours of it and I just got bored. I did enjoy going out and hunting for things and that, but the story just didn't seem to move along. I just seemed to be doing the same style of thing over and over again. So I just got fed up with it. But visually it looks nice. It's a good idea. I'm heard Riptide, the sequel's much better. But it's worth the money for £1 for 3 hours, to be honest. Right. Deus Ex Human Revolution next. This was only £1. I really fancied this. I love the Deus Ex games, even the shitty one on the Xbox. But I'd heard, not knowing anything about this, I understand that the director's cut is a much better game. This one, the boss battles is pretty poor. I've not started this one yet, so I'll maybe just scrap this and try and find the director's cut one. I'm not too sure because as I say, I really enjoy the game, so I want to try and get the most out of it. So I'm not sure what to do about that one. Another shooter now, cave shooter, Dodonpachi Resurrection. Again, beautiful bullet hell shooter. I love the original on the Saturn. It's a great game. One thing I don't like about this, and I might be because I'm fucking thick, but you can't play the game in tape mode. Well, you can. You could rotate the screen, but the controls still stay horizontal, if that makes any sense. So like when you're playing your analog stick, you basically turn your joypad up like this and play it like this, which isn't any fucking good. So I might be stupid, there might be a way of doing it, but it's, even on a 40-inch telly, the screen's not big enough to play it like that. Shoot 'em up should be set in tape mode, in my opinion, and this, so for me that sort of ruined this game. But like $1.99 for this, I can't believe I found it for this. It's a fantastic game, fantastic price. As you can see, a bit of a pattern here, they're all $1.99 style games. I never actually realised that 360 games were that cheap. No, I'm going to be playing them forever. Like. Next up is Duke Nukem Forever. Big massive fan of the Duke Nukem 64, so I was keen to play this. I knew it was going to be terrible, and it's better than I thought, to be honest. It's still a shit game, don't get me wrong. It's childish, it's piss poor graphics wise and things like that, but I still wanted to play it. Only cost me £1, and I've not finished it yet. I can't bring myself to finish it, but the driving levels and that kind of wear thin after a while. But aye, they come forever. Next up is one of my favourite series of games. It's Fable 3. It's £1.99. I love the Fable games. I've never played this. The second one is fantastic. Problem with the Fable games is they always promise much more than they deliver. I've heard this one's not the best, but I do enjoy the game, so I've yet to play this yet. I'm off for a few days next week, so I'll probably try and tank through that. Then, Far Cry 3, this was £1. This was a really good game. I really enjoyed this. Again, like Grand Theft Auto, I enjoyed how you didn't have to piss about doing side missions. You could just plough right through the standard story missions, and it's a good story. Sort of unbelievable how the guy could go from being a wee pansy to killing thousands of people. But I'm glad as well that they sorted out the stealth mechanics, because the Blast 2, it was even hiding in bushes, the guards used to spot you a mile off, and this one's not as bad. But it's definitely worth picking up if nobody's played it yet. Far Cry 3. Just 2 games, basically they're £1 each. That's Gears of War 1 and 2. I had these before for £1 each. I'm going to look forward to playing through them again. Here's a game that totally surprised me. It's Homefront. This game, I saw this for £1 and I thought it was multiplayer only, and I didn't realise it had a single player. So, and this is why I think the 360 is becoming a better console for me personally. Because if I had paid £40 for this game, the campaign lasts, I think it's just over 3 hours. So if I paid £40 for that, just for the campaign, I would be in tears. My wee fucking fanny would be weeping at the thought of spending £40 on a game. But for £1, I think it was a fantastic game. This is the best Terminator inspired game I've ever played. I know it's nothing to do with Terminator, but I had that feeling of sort of you in derelict wasteland up against a huge unstoppable force, and I think it's fantastic. So if anyone sees it, definitely pick it up. I think it's one of the hidden gems of the 360. I know it didn't get the greatest reviews at the time, but that's because you're comparing it to things like Call of Duty and that. So yeah, so Homefront, really good game. Well worth the money. Special edition of Halo 3 in the tin. No bad wee special edition. It's got a nice little book. That was only £1. I got that from Game actually. Just the guy put it out as I went in. So pretty happy with that. I do enjoy the Halo games. I'm not mad on them, but they're quite good games. Hitman. That was £1.99. I've always loved the Hitman games. I find this one kind of pushes you down the shooting corridor more now. I've always found Hitman games to be more stealthy. It's great fun planning your attack and things like that. Whereas this, there's too many levels where they force you just to fire, go in guns blazing. I think that kind of spoils it. But it's a pretty good game. Really good game actually. Finished that as well. Good. 2 games I used to have back in the day. Kane and Lynch 1 and 2. Sorry about this glare, it's such a nice day. I did really enjoy Kane and Lynch when it first came out. But again, it's not aged that great. It looks a bit poor for a 360 game. But I do find it interesting how this game attempted things like heists and that, and even now in Grand Theft Auto 5, like 7 years later, so 2008 or something that came out, 6-7 years later, that they still haven't really mastered a heist game, because Grand Theft Auto 5 the heists did have some problems, but Kane and Lynch 2 is a much better game. Good multiplayer actually. It's a shame it never really took off. Classics edition here of Left 4 Dead. That was only 50p. Left 4 Dead's Left 4 Dead. It's a great game. I had it back in the day. 2 shoot 'em ups now. Medal of Honor. and Medal of Honor Warfighter. I really enjoyed these games. I think they're pretty good. I think this one's better than the Call of Duty games. I know I got a lot of bother with, I needed patches and things like that because it was broken, but I've never seen any bother with it. Obviously being fixed now. But yeah, I really enjoy the Medal of Honor games. They're pretty good games. Max Payne 3 was $1.99. I love the Max Payne games. This one got a bit repetitive, to be honest. I felt that all you done was you walk into a room, shoot everyone, then you'd walk down another little corridor, then another shooting section would start, and we've just done this over and over and over again. So I know the other Max Payne games were like that, but I don't know, I just felt it was more obvious in this version. But it looks beautiful. I've not played the multiplayer, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I got a bonkers game here, similar to Bayonetta. Ninja Blade by Sega. No, From Software, sorry, it's published by Sega, I'm sure. But this game is just bonkers. The only problem I have with this is the levels are huge. They take about an hour to finish, and you can't save your game mid-level. So it's been a few times I've been 75% through a level, and I've had to go. The wife's been calling me for a shag or the tea's ready or something like that. You know, it's things that women do. So I've had to switch it off. It can be quite irritating, but definitely worth the £1 I paid for it. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Really enjoyed the old Hot Pursuit games. This one, I don't know what it is about new racing, well, not new racing games, latest racing games. You never seem to have to go round corners. It's just straight roads all the time, and occasionally you have to veer to the left or the right. So I got a bit bored of it, to be honest. I'll get a beer because my throat's getting dry. Next up, I never paid that price for it, 99 Nights. This was $1.99. I thought this was an RPG, to be honest. I didn't realise it was like a Dynasty Warriors style game. Seems a bit more story based than Dynasty Warriors. So I've only played 3 levels of it, and it's quite good fun actually. Obviously these games get repetitive, you can't really play them through in one sitting. But I am enjoying it actually. I love big, large scale battle games. They're good fun, good fun. So that's 99 Nights. One of these underrated shooters is Operation Flashpoint, Red River. I love the Flashpoint games. I think they're really good war simulators. A lot better than say the Call of Duty games for testing your war strategies and that. This one looks amazing. It looks photorealistic. The difficulty is a little high, as I would imagine a real war would be. People do get shot quite regular in this. But yes, it's pretty good. They've tried to make it a little bit more Call of Duty like. It's not quite as slow paced, but still a really good game. Really, really good game. Really enjoy this style of games. Next up, Perfect Dark Zero. Not in the best condition now. This was one of the games I got when I bought it for launch. It's only 50p. A wonderful collection here. One of my favourite games in the original Xbox. It's Painkiller, Hell and Damnation. Damnation even, not Dalmatian. Yeah, this is a cracking set actually. It's a special edition. This was $1.99, and it comes with a CD, soundtrack and things like that, and a little book, little art book. But this is a great game. It's quite rare on the original Xbox. It's one of the rarest of the games for the original Xbox. But this is old school first person shooting at its finest. Visually it looks fantastic, so did the original though. And it's just no story, no pissing about, just you, a double barrel shotgun and 1,000 fucking bad guys. But really, really worth picking up if you're into that style of games. Music's kick ass. Right, picked up Rage. That was only £1. Not had the chance to play this yet. This is on next to play. Looks really good. Again, old school style shooter. some vehicle combat and things like that in it, but it looks really good. 2 Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 5. You can still see the price on that, I've not took that off yet. It's a special edition Resident Evil 5, $1.99 and $1.99. 6 is a lot better than I thought it was. The Chris sort of episode is probably the weakest of the lot, but I just briefly looked at some reviews before I played it and everyone said it was a terrible game, it's pish and things like that. Yeah, it's not a traditional Resident Evil, but I really enjoyed it. 5 I'd finished before I had it originally. I had the 360 and I didn't like it too much back then, to be honest. I thought it wasn't the best one, but I enjoyed it a lot better on my second playthrough. Again though, I mean, I know the original Resident Evil only lasted 3 hours, but I kind of prefer these Resident Evils that don't drag on for hours and hours and hours. A really terrible game again that I bought brand new. It's Ride to Hell. I actually really enjoyed this. I think it was fantastic. It was like a bad B movie. And I think people that slated it and said it's got like 1% out of 100 and that, I think they kind of missed the point. I know it's pish and it's missing a lot of things like sound effects and music and that, but I found it really enjoyable. I don't know why we've had to wait so long for a motorbike game, to be honest. I know they had Lost in the Damned and GTA 4, but I think a motorbike game like Red Dead Redemption would be fantastic, just going about killing all the gangs and things like that. 2 fighting games now, Street Fighter 4 and Samurai Showdown Zen. Actually surprised with this. I'd noticed Big Mike from Sega CD Universe. He's just recently done a sort of like a mini review of this. This surprised the hell out of me, to be honest. I enjoy the Samurai Showdown games. I did expect this one to be terrible. I thought it would be like Hyper Samurai Showdown 64, which was a terrible game. It looks pish, it looks ugly as fuck, it plays horrible. This one's not too bad actually. It's lots of characters, 30 odd characters, something to pick from. Graphically it's not too bad. Obviously it's not as good as the older Samurai Showdowns, but I think the problem with fighting games, even Street Fighter, is the original 360 joypad is terrible for fighting games. Excuse me, I think you really do need a fighting stick to enjoy any fighting game on the 360. A game I cannot recommend enough, that is Spec Ops The Line. Again, this was $1.99. And the campaign, as I say, I've done the campaign in 3 hours 20 minutes. I thought it was a fantastic game, but if I'd paid £40 for that I would be weeping. It's not so much a good twist, you kind of guess it if you've not already played it, but yeah, really good, fantastic game. Highly recommend it, and you can pick it up fairly cheap, so yeah, definitely worth picking up. The game that actually broke the camel's back for me on the 360 is Splinter Cell Conviction. This was the last game I ever bought for my 360. I'd waited a couple of years for this coming out. I loved the 360 games and I was desperate to play this. I went down to game on the Friday afternoon, partied with my 45 notes, took it home, played it for 3 hours or something on the Friday night and 2 hours on the Saturday morning, and I'd 100% finished it. And I was just like, what am I going to do now? So that's when I decided I would never buy another new game again, and I just sold my 360 and sold all my games. So, but still a great game, and for £1 I'm loving playing it again. Don't get me wrong, it was a great game, I just don't think it was worth £45. Right, next up is Stranglehold, one of the early 360 games. I think this is a fantastic game. I had it back in the day. It's repetitive, it's quite short, but it's John Woo, motherfucker, it's fantastic. One of the games I was desperate to play on the 360. Sniper, Ghost Warrior. I really enjoy sniping games. I loved Sniper Elite on the Xbox. This one's pretty poor. Sniping mechanic's decent enough, but the sneaking mechanic is terrible. The guards have got X-ray vision. They can spot you a mile away. I've heard the sequel's slightly better, but I've yet to find that. One game that just blew me away was Sleeping Dogs. I thought this was one of the best games I've played in a long time. To me this was Shenmue 3. This was as close as I'm going to get to playing a new Shenmue game. And I don't understand why they say Shenmue doesn't have the fan base to justify spending money on making it. Whereas this had no fan base. I mean, nobody really liked, well, not that they didn't like, but the true crime series didn't have a huge following. So for this to kind of come out and do reasonably well enough to get a sequel, I don't understand why they can't do that with Shenmue. I really don't. Just use this engine. I thought this was a fantastic engine. The fighting was great, it worked really well, the driving was a bit arcadey, but yeah, Sleeping Dogs. I really loved it. Tomb Raider up next. I managed to see this for $1.99. I can't believe I saw it for $1.99. I thought it only came out a short while ago, but what do I know. So I've not actually finished this yet. I'm about halfway through. I am enjoying it. I do like the Tomb Raiders. Lara looks pretty hot in it, but I just feel like it's sort of like every other game at the moment. That's what I'm kind of getting fed up after playing all these games. A lot of them are similar, and you do get kind of fed up playing them. Second for last now is a flying game, Tom Clancy's Hawk. I actually enjoyed this. I do like the old flight sims. This one's quite good. I've never finished it. It's got a bit fed up again playing it, but good game. And finally, one of my favourites on the system, Under Defeat HD. Fantastic game. Loved it for the Saturn. This is a good remake. A bit of slowdown on it though, I think. I noticed a lot of slowdown. This has got the soundtrack as well. Really good, but again, playing it on a normal TV, it's a bit hard. You really need a tape monitor for stuff like this. But yeah, so there you go guys, that's my 52 360 games. And obviously, looking at that, you may think it's turning into like another PlayStation 2 collection where you just pick up every game you see. But these are all games that I've wanted to play. I've certainly got my money's worth, as I say. I've finished about 75% of them. I've just been firing. I look at them like Spec Ops to me was like a film. I just fired it on one night, sat down, 3 hours later I'd finished it. I loved it, enjoyed the experience. But to me it was just like a film. I just put it to the side. So yeah, so I'm not converted back to modern gaming, so I won't be rushing out to buy a PS4 or a Xbox One. Sort of had my fill with the 360 for the time being. I was desperate to get back to playing some Master System games and that. Just much more fun. Anyway guys, I've got a regular pickup video next. I've not been picking up a huge amount because I'm kind of limited for what games I want now. But I'll fire that up next and I'll catch you next time. Take it easy.